What up guys, it's Dragon Ball for Life here today and I'm back with another video. Now today's video we're going to be talking about Giorno Giovanni and his Golden Experience Requiem and their two abilities of, infinite time loop and revert everything back to zero. Now I'm going to be debunking these, abilities because I feel like a lot of the JoJo fans kind of put his abilities in such a high regard that means that most characters cannot really touch him. And I get it. I'm not saying that these abilities aren't OP or very, top tier. I would consider them actually one of the most powerful abilities, not only in anime but in fiction in general. But even with that being said, I don't think it's as powerful as a lot of the fans say, because they put it to such a high regard that they say the only way you can infinite time loop, they say the only way you can stop the infinite time loop or beat him is if you're able to move so fast that you move, you have inaccessible or incalculable speeds, basically meaning you can move so fast that you would be able to move at stop time, which is usually a higher tier or top tier level of speed, which is well above light speed by, versus fans. So that is already ridiculous. But they also say the only other way you can beat him is if you have reality warping abilities or have some type of resilience or some type of resistance completely to reality warping abilities. That's the only way you can beat him, which that would mean that only the top tier characters in all of fiction could beat him, because most characters do not have that abilities or on that level to beat him. So they put him to such a high standard, even though Giorno Giovanni's ability, like his strength, speed, and durability are not that impressive. His, abilities alone put him at that level that he would be able to beat somebody like Goku, as a lot of, JoJo fans say. Because they say that no matter what Goku does, no matter what attack he tries to fire at him, whether it's, an energy attack or if it's a physical attack, it'll just revert it back to zero, basically meaning it'll rewind it back in time before the attack even happens. So he would basically be able to prevent Goku from attacking him, whenever. So that's one of the reasons that a lot of people say it. And personally, I do feel like this is kind of a no-limit fallacy with his abilities. They are at least saying that he would have some limitations, but it's still high-end. And I don't agree with it. And I'm going to go into depth in this video, explain why I think that. Now, one of the thoughts that I had was, well, is this just a power-up that stays for a bit, or is this, permanent? And from the research I did, I found out that yes, it is permanent, because it was stated that, the power up that he got is with him for eternity, basically meaning forever. So yes, this power up is just, because usually when you see power ups, there's two ways they go. Either a character just gets a power up for the a brief moment and then it goes away. Usually that's puts them in a higher end feats, or sometimes they get it and then it sticks with them and then now they're that level of power. And I just wanted to make that sure, but yes, it has been confirmed. It was literally stated that he has it for eternity. So this is not just a temporary power-up, it's a permanent one. And as the fight goes on between, Golden Experience Requiem and the Crimson King, you see more of his abilities and how powerful they are. Now, the Crimson King's abilities itself are quite impressive. He has kind of like three abilities rolled into one, and they're all time based abilities. Now, one of the abilities he has is the fact that he can see into the future. He can basically see future events and what's going to happen and how they happen. So if an opponent attacks him, he can use his ability to see what they're going to do, but it only has it has a limited time limit for 10 seconds. So he can see what they can do within for 10 seconds throughout the fight, right? So yeah, he can see their future attacks, but also he can stopping the time around him, but he can also erase time around him, which is basically just another way of saying that he can revert time. So he can stop individuals or certain things and then revert time around it. So he did this against Giovanni. He stopped him and he couldn't move, and he went after him to try to attack him, and he saw a possible future where he did hit him. But if for some reason he stated that time is reverting backwards, and he was wondering what's happening because he was supposed to kill him, but time started to revert backwards, and he was wondering if this was Golden Experience Requiem's doing. And as he says this, Golden Experience Requiem actually turns around and looks at him and starts talking to him, which catches him off by surprise, because with this ability, whenever whenever he activates this ability, they get stopped in time for at least 10 seconds, and he can do basically whatever he wants in that 10 seconds, and was trying to kill him, but it didn't work on him, and he was just surprised. And we do get some quite interesting dialogue from Golden Experience Requiem, as he says, "Yes, what you see is indeed reality. Your ability indeed sees what will actually occur. However, you will never arrive at the reality that you will occur. None who stand before me shall do so, no matter what ability they may wield." Now, this is quite impressive, and this is where a lot of people state that he is quite, insanely overpowered, due to the fact that, not only was he able to move through stop time, but he was also able to revert everything that happened to him and stop the effects of the attack that he was going to launch on him. He also explains that not even Master General Giovanni knows of this, and this also puts another thing into perspective and showcases another impressive thing about this ability. Not only does this ability, if somebody tries to attack him or even thinks of attacking him, it reverts it backwards to, before it happened, but he can also move through stop time, or a guy who has complete time manipulation, and he can do this individually without, Giovanni being able to, recognize what's happening. This is impressive and important because a lot of people might say, well, if you put stop time, it stops him, but the stand is the one who, sets off Golden Experience Requiem, not Giovanni. It can do it individually on its own. And normally throughout, JoJo, the way the stands work is they're directly linked to the user, so they're directly linked to their life. If the user gets beaten and killed, then the stand will die along with them. And normally the stands cannot, enact in any physical confrontation without, the use of the stand user himself. But in this case, with, this power-up, now his Golden Experience Requiem can work on its own individually without using him, which makes it a little more, dangerous and impressive, because even if you can stop, him through time, it's not going to stop his stand, and his stand can fight, and his stand is the one who activates the ability, and his stand is actually faster and stronger than Giovanni. And this is one of the main reasons why people say he's overpowered, and why people say that you would have to move at such an incredible speed that you would be able to move at stop time, so have inaccessible or incalculable speeds, because his stand was able to move in that, so that means that you would have to have that ability. But here is the big problem with that argument. The reason why the assumption is that his stand is moving so fast that stop time doesn't work on him. But the problem with that is that's not the case. The reason why he was able to move, he himself explained, he said, none who stand before me shall do so, no matter what ability they may yield. Basically meaning that he has, with his ability of Golden Experience Requiem, he can negate other people's abilities. Even though, Crimson King's ability can stop time for everyone around them except for the user, when it comes to Golden Experience Requiem, it does not work on him because he has an ability. His ability negates all other abilities and rewinds time against other attacks. So if you're trying to use a technique like time stopping or reality warping, it will not work on him. He can not only does he have an ability that negates their abilities, but he can rewind time. And this is very important because this whole arc was important, because the big problem with Crimson King was he had such an OP ability and they didn't know how to beat him. So the only way to trump an OP ability is to have another one that's even more OP. And when it comes to JoJo, these characters are very well known for, their abilities and, the capability that they have. So they're not very well known for their, physical prowess itself. They do have a little bit talking, they're obviously still quite physically strong, but they're more well known for their abilities than their strength. And this is quite important. Why do I say this? Because the argument that a lot of people make is, Well, that means that stop time doesn't work on him because he can move so fast, meaning that he would have inaccessible or incalculable speed. The arrow did amplify their power, but not to the point where it's unstoppable or limitless. I wouldn't put it into that. It did make, Giovanni and his Golden Experience Requiem, who is more powerful, even stronger, but it would still have it would be not to such a crazy extent, because when we see earlier on, while he's fighting Crimson King, he fires a pebble through his hand, and it goes through his hand and through his stand user, and smashes into the wall, destroying it, and also gets Scorpion to rip off a piece of his hand, which is quite impressive how much stronger he got. But he wasn't so OP, the amount of power he got wasn't so much to the point where he could physically just beat him through pure power. He would still need the ability to negate his to beat him. Why is this important? Well, like I said, the argument that people make for Golden Experience Requiem is he has inaccessible speed or incalculable speeds because he was able to move through stop time. It didn't have an effect on him. So meaning if a character wants to beat him, they can't be moving at light speed, because the argument that people were saying is, well, Golden Experience Requiem might have the ability to rewind time, but if you move so fast that you speed blitz him, so if, let's say you move at the speed of light, basically his perception, because the way it works is it doesn't just work automatically. His Golden Experience Requiem has to set it off, and it doesn't need Journal to do it, but his Golden Experience Requiem can do it. But that would still mean that his Golden Experience Requiem would be the one having to set it off, so you would have to stop him, meaning that it would be based off of his speed of how fast he can activate the technique. It doesn't just naturally happen. The stand does it, so he has to activate it. So if you can speed blitz the stand before it activates the technique, and instantly kill Journal or the stand, he will instantly die himself, and that will prevent him from activating his ability, which would be OP. Because once he does activate it, then you're basically nothing. You got nothing out of it. It just takes it back. And people saying that you can speed blitz him, but the argument that JoJo fans are saying, well, he was put in stop time and he was still able to move. So you could speed blitz him, but you can't speed blitz him by just being at the speed of light or faster than the speed of light. You would have to be faster than time itself and be inaccessible or incalculable levels of speed, which is important because most characters don't have that. That is a high-end level of speed. That is only top-tier level characters can do that. So that would put him in the top-tier level of echelon of characters to be able to speed blitz him. So even if you're a character that is faster than, even if you're faster than Journal or move at the speed of light or faster speed of light, you can't do it unless you're moving faster than the speed of time itself, which he was able to move around through. But the problem with that is that's going under the assumption that Golden Experience Requiem could move through Crimson King's ability because he was so fast that stop time had no effect on him. But from his statement, he's saying no ability will work on me because of my ability. So he has an ability that trumps other abilities. So this would be more put in the category of he has resistance or complete immunity to time manipulating abilities. Meaning, if you stop time with an ability, it won't work. But if you move so fast that it seems like time stopped, or he perceives like time stopped to him, because if you move so fast like at light speed, most people will be like, look like they're frozen in time. Then you can take him out. So this is very important. Now I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this one, or I'm gonna get a lot of people to disagree with me anyway. But especially in this part, because my argument here is. Golden Experience Requiem is not moving because of speed, but through the fact that he can negate time-stopping abilities, meaning that time-stopping abilities don't work on him because of that. And this is important because even Screw Attack mentioned this when they were talking about, in the what's the thing called? The Trunks versus Silver fight. They mentioned that Robot Sonic was able to move through stop time, and they specifically mentioned the fact that it was due to his speed, not through a resistance to time-stopping powers. So that's important. Now, some of you guys are going to be like, well, what's the difference? What's the difference of, a character who can stop time with an ability and a character who moves so fast that time stops? If he can move through an ability that can stop time compared to a character who just moves so fast, what's the difference? The difference, I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say Goldover, for example. Goldo has the ability to stop time by holding his breath, right? Now, technically, he can stop time, but can he move so fast that time stops? No. For him to move that fast, he would have to move at light speed or faster, and Goldo hasn't shown anything of that level. Now, even though he can stop time, you would probably perceive that he moves, faster than time, but he doesn't. He's using an ability that affects time. He himself, through his physical prowess, is not doing that. And as he was fighting against, Krillin and Gohan, they were insanely faster than him and were able to move so fast that they were almost able to hit him. But since he had stop time, he was basically able to stop them before they were able to hit him. Now that's important because, that's a clear-cut difference. So using somebody like Goldo's ability where he can stop time compared to somebody like, let's say, Superman, who can move so fast that time looks like it stopped, are two different things. One is the perception, the other one is an ability that's messing with reality itself. So yes, he was messing with time itself, which was an ability which he can negate, but he did that with his own ability, not through his speed. If he did it through his speed, then yes, you can make that argument, because then that would mean that that character moving at light speed would not be able to beat him. He would have to move faster than time itself. But if it's just a character that moves faster than time, he can still beat him. They can still beat him if they speed blitz him and one-shot him, because Golden Experience Requiem is not light speed. I don't care what anybody says. He does not have inaccessible speed or incalculable speed. What he's shown right here doesn't showcase that. What it shows right here is that his ability can negate any ability. Now, if a character uses time stop ability on him, then it won't affect him. But if a character can move faster than light, it will. They can still take him out because he cannot move at that speed. He was only able to move through resistance itself. Now I think I kind of went on that quite a bit. After this fight, General gets back his consciousness, and then we have Golden Experience Requiem beating the boss guy. I don't remember his name was, and basically killing him, but he doesn't officially die. And General explains he will never even arrive at the reality of death infinitely. Basically meaning that this is the second part of his ability where if you get killed by him, you basically are putting an infinite death loop. Now, why am I mentioning this? Because a lot of JoJo fans, once again, misinterpret, the ability. Some people say that, oh, no, he doesn't have to kill the person to put them in infinite death loop. All he has to do is touch them. The fact that Golden Experience Requiem touches them would put them in an infinite time loop. But this is wrong, because we do see through the scans that the boss guy actually died while fighting him. You see his head getting split open, so he died. If it was just him touching him, then he wouldn't need to bash his head in. He would have been already dying in that illusion or reality warping world anyway. Why would he need to do that? The only reason he would need to do that is he has to actually start the initiation of the time loop by killing him. So no, contact alone or the activation of Golden Experience, Golden Requiem Experience, whatever the fuck you want to call him. Golden Experience Requiem's ability itself does not do it. So yes, time loop does not work through the ability just being activated or touching him. You have to kill the person. So yeah, there's that. Also, when you see in the card ability stuff, if you see all the other stuff like destructive force, precision, speed and stuff, it puts none. That doesn't mean he doesn't have any. It just means that he's so incalculably fast and powerful that we don't know where his limit lies. And there's a little bit of explanation on his ability, which is actually quite impressive. It says the strength of the attack's will and actions will be reverted to zero. Those who are stuck by this power will even have their deaths reverted to zero and thus continuously die an infinite number of deaths. So basically, any of their abilities or attacks that they use will be reverted to zero, and when they die, basically they'll be put into an infinite, supposed infinite death loop. That's basically it for it. I want to go back and re-explain everything over again, because I know sometimes it can get complicated with crazy ass abilities like this. It can be really complicating for a lot of people, and I get that. Let's talk about the death loop, because that's the easiest. The argument that just him activating Golden Experience Requiem, already puts them in an infinite death loop, or just him touching him puts you in the infinite death loop, is incorrect. it only puts you in infinite death loop if you're killed, because we see that his brain was bashed in, and you see it through his stand's brain getting splattered out, which is directly linked to the user's lifeline. So if the stand dies, then the user dies. If the user dies, the stand dies. They're basically intertwined, and we saw the stand died. So if it initiated naturally, he wouldn't have to kill him. So no, death loop only activates if it kills them, and this is important because this would mean that he would have to be strong enough to kill somebody. But there's a lot of characters that he cannot beat because, like I said, physically he's not that powerful, but with his ability he is. But the ability basically just gives him an ultimate defense where he prevents anybody from hurting him. He can hurt them, but once again, if he's against an opponent that's ridiculously durable or more powerful than him, like someone like Goku, no matter what his attacks he does against Goku, he's not going to be able to hurt him. So that's why people say it's usually Goku might not be able to beat him, but it'll be a stalemate, and he can't beat Goku either. And then talking about his reverting everything back to zero, I think that's his most OP ability, and I think that's the biggest threat when it comes to him as a character. But I think the problem with that is people say that you would have to go at inaccessible or incalculable levels of speed, or have high level reality warping abilities, which I can see that one, having reality warping or resistance to reality warping or time warping to be able to prevent his revert back to zero, because it's really reverting reality and time itself. So if you can go against that, like someone like Reed Richards, then yes, you can beat him. But the thing is, you can technically take him out without having to have that. You just have to be fast enough to speed blitz him. And that's where another argument that the JoJo fans made, where they're saying, well, to do that, it's still quite you have to be impossibly powerful. You would have to move so fast that you can move through stop time, because Golden Experience Requiem was able to move through stop time. And my argument through that was, he didn't move through stop time because of his speed. He moved through it because he had an ability that negated all other abilities. So stop time abilities cannot work on him. And there's a clear-cut difference between having the ability to stop time and moving so fast that time seems like it's stopped. Stopping time through an ability like Goldo's stop time, he can stop time, but he's not fast enough to move through at stop time. He just has an ability that can activate it. Whereas when you move that fast, you're not using any abilities. You're just using your raw speed to do it. Your raw speed does that. So yeah, he didn't do that through his speed, but through an ability hacks or negation hacks, as you can say. And that's impressive or important for this one big reason. The argument people were making is that he was moving through stop time through speed, but no, it's through his ability, which is different. So that means that his speed would not be inaccessible or incalculable. So you wouldn't have to move at that speed to be able to speed blitz him. Well, how fast would you have to be? Well, we have to find out how fast, Golden Experience Requiem is. It would be basically how fast Journo is, but by a little bit more. Which, he is quite a bit faster than him, but there's no way in hell you're going to say that he got infinitely faster, because the arrow multiplied Journo's abilities, all of his natural abilities, and gave him new ones, but it multiplied it, but not to an infinite extent. It just multiplied it by a decent amount, which would multiply his Golden Experience Requiem speed also by a decent amount. So basically, Golden Experience Requiem speed would be a bit, like maybe a little bit faster than Journo's, or maybe 2 times faster than Journo. And from what we know, Journo is not that fast. So if he was fighting against somebody like Goku, even if you want to say Goku can't move in stop time, Goku would still speed blitz him. Hell, even characters slower than Goku can speed blitz and kill Journo, because they will be significantly faster than Golden Experience Requiem. And the Requiem ability doesn't activate just instantly. It gets activated by Golden Experience Requiem. That was one of the reasons why it was considered powerful, and why King Crimson was like, the Crimson King was like surprised, because Journo wasn't moving, but he was. He basically explained that he can individually use the ability, so it would require his reflexes. So to beat Golden Experience Requiem and Journo, you would have to move faster than Golden Experience Requiem by so much that he would not be able to react to your speed, the character's speed, so he can't, activate Golden Experience Requiem to revert everything back. So it's basically like he has a powerful ability, but he needs to be conscious of the attacker coming at him so he can activate it to rewind time. If he activates it, then you would have to be insanely powerful to be able to negate that ability and negate the ability's effects and attack him. But if you're fast enough where you can speed blitz him and his reaction, he cannot react to it, he cannot set it off. So the only way to beat Golden Experience Requiem in general is to basically attack him before he activates his ability, and to attack him before he activates his ability is to attack him before he has the perception that you're going to attack him, which, and from what I explained, he doesn't have inaccessible speed, so you wouldn't even have to be insanely fast. Moving at the speed of light, or even less than that, would be more than enough to speed blitz him, because Journal is not light speed. He's probably like a hypersonic. Yeah. He might be hypersonic plus or massively hypersonic, but he's definitely not light speed. So characters that are far slower than Goku can do it, and Goku can definitely do it. The way I see it is, he fights Goku. If, let's say, Goku is not trying to speed blitz him and just going normal speed, then yeah, if Goku tries to fire an attack, he will just revert time. But his Kamehameha moves many times the speed of light, so if he fires that attack, if let's say he's charging him, it takes too long, then yeah, he can stop him. But if he fires it off, it would move too fast for his Golden Experience Requiem to be able to react to it and set off the ability, and it will kill him. So yeah, I don't think he could stop something like that. I think you just need to speed blitz him, or let's say use an ability that you destroy the planet. If you destroy the planet as a whole, wiping him out instantly, then he can't do anything. So you basically would need to speed blitz him and kill him right away, which you would actually not need to be that fast. I know I'm going to have a lot of disagreements. I know how to repeat myself quite a bit. I just want to get through people's heads, because I know a lot of people are like, nope, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. He has inaccessible speed. He can move through stop time. The only way you can beat him is if you move through stop time. But no, it's his ability it was the reason why he was able to move through it. It wasn't his speed. And Golden Experience Requiem only goes off by him. Golden Experience Requiem himself has to set off the Requiem ability to do so. But he's against an opponent that's so fast that he can't even react to, or move so fast that he speed blitz him, he will lose. It's kind of like Batman versus Superman. Batman has contingency plans to take out Superman, but Superman, if he's not holding back and just goes to speed blitz him, no matter what his contingency plan is, he'll be basically stopped in time and not be able to move or initiate anything, and he can take him out. Unless he set it up before. But yeah, so yeah, that's it for this video. That's it for the debunk of this character. I felt like this character needed it. I'm also going to be doing a video on talking about how strong is Shinra from Fire Force. That's going to be a big project, so it's going to be taking me some time for that. But I do have a couple of smaller videos that I can do that's going to be more simple and doesn't need too much for it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.